You are Locked On Tigers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Detroit on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Oh yes, it's a series win for the Detroit Tigers. Welcome into a live Locked On Tigers postcast. They blow it open with a big 6-run 8th inning to take care of the Oakland Athletics for the final time at the Oakland Coliseum. My name is Jake Rietma, fired up to be with you on a live Locked On Tigers postcast. First of two Locked On Detroit postcast today, and hopefully the first of a really, really fun Sunday in the month of September. Tigers get the win. Locked On Lions postcast immediately following Sunday Night Football tonight. It all happens on Locked On Sports Detroit, and that's why we thank you for making Locked On Sports Detroit your post-game destination for the final out after Tigers games, the final whistle after Lions games or Wolverines games, whatever it may be. We've got you covered on Locked On Sports Detroit, free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team each and every day. Today's show is made possible by FanDuel. That's right. Locked On Tigers Postcast is brought to you by FanDuel. And now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Watching Sunday NFL Ticket today, it's the best. So visit FanDuel.com to get started. And while we have it, we're talking about a Detroit Tigers series victory over the Oakland Athletics, and was a little dicey in that 7th inning. I'm not going to lie. I think first and foremost, so I don't forget before we get into all of the offense, credit to the pitching staff. It was Bo Brisky that opened, and Ty Madden going to get the win, goes 5 innings. And I think there was some concern with his lack of swing and miss his last time out, but put forth 7 strikeouts in 5 innings of work today. You feel really good about that number. And again, it got a little dicey there in that 7th inning, but that's why you've got Tyler Holton. That's right. Tyler Holton comes in, 1 pitch, gets the double play, and then takes care of the rest of the business. He gets a hold, and then Kenta Maeda, 2 innings there to conclude the 8th and 9th. But like I said, that Tiger offense, man, they just blow it open. But before that, it was the Trey Sweeney show. That's right. Trey Sweeney goes deep. His 3rd home run of the season came in the 3rd inning, and he had a couple of extra base hits as well. And got to give credit to Kerry Carpenter. He had a couple of RBI on the day as well for the Tigers. And that 8th inning with the 6 runs is an example. And I know it's later in the game and whatnot, but going into that top of the 8th inning, it's a 3-1 game. The Athletics had some runners on the bases in innings past. And so you just felt like, and Dan Petrie even said this, he said, let's get a run or two. Let's, start to add some insurance. And they do so in a big, big way. So how about that Tigers offense? And don't look now, actually forget that. No, look now, check every day like I do, because the Tigers are officially in a wild card race, my friends. 3.5 games back. Minnesota lost again to Kansas City. And don't look now, but Kansas City is just 3 games off the Guardians for the top of the AL Central. And wow, we got a legitimate race, my friends. That's awesome stuff right there. And I'm going to be the first to admit it. I did not expect this in any way, shape, or form following the deadline. But lo and behold, baseball is a funny game sometimes. And this Tigers team pressing all the right buttons. And credit to AJ Hinch, especially when you consider the roller coaster of emotion, the I don't want to say the highest of highs, but arguably one of the most exciting results of the entire season on Thursday with the go-ahead grand slam in the 9th from Parker Meadows. And then less than 24 hours later, still on the road out west against, again, Oakland, a team that's playing much better baseball. And a marathon game you lose in 13 innings on Friday. So again, the high of the high Thursday night, the low Friday night, and really into Saturday morning because it was so late. But to be able to come back and take the next 2 games on the road against the Oakland Athletics to finish the road trip 3-3, salvage the road trip, win the last 2, it's going to be a happy flight home with an off day tomorrow, followed by 3 important games against an inferior opponent. But we know what we say time and time again on this program. You still got to go out and execute. You still got to go out and take care of business. and the margin for error is just so razor thin that yes, you welcome games against teams like the Rockies that are my good buddy Jeff Rieger tweeted out. I think they're 36 games under 500, something ridiculous like that. But you still got to go out and play. An old college coach that you should just scream at that as play. Okay, we get it. We got to play. But lots of comments to get into. And those joining us on the live YouTube stream, and if you're catching us on the audio only version on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast, just use your imagination with me, because you might see in the background of my set, I do have a Sell the Team towel. That's right. That's paying homage to the Oakland Athletic fans that are coming up on the final days of the Oakland Coliseum. And after all those great years between the Tigers and Athletics and some of those memorable series, those playoff series, I have talked about this a couple of different times on Locked On Tigers postcast, but we got to pay tribute to the Coliseum. And I've got the Sell the Team Oakland A's towel in the backdrop there from when I was at the Coliseum. Went to the Coliseum a couple of times. So there you have it. The end of baseball's last dive bar. So the end of the season will result in the end of the Oakland Coliseum. And it is sad for Oakland Athletic fans that won't be able to support their team anymore, and what's happening with the move to Sacramento, then to Vegas to play first in Sacramento in a AAA stadium, followed by Vegas. It's a whole mess. So John Fisher, I think on behalf of all the Oakland Athletic fans, we give him the collective middle finger, but is what it is. So I wanted to have that on the set there. So again, if you're on the audio only version, I've got a little tribute to the Oakland Coliseum there. So, all right, let's get into some comments, because we are just kind of wetting our whistle here before the next part of our doubleheader. Back-to-back days with doubleheaders here on Locked On Sports Detroit. We love that. Yesterday we had Locked On Wolverines postcast and then a Locked On Tigers postcast. The Tigers gave us an exciting postcast and a positive postcast. The Wolverines not so much. But here we are after a series win for the Detroit Tigers over the Oakland Athletics. Final score today, 9-1, a 6-run 8th inning blows it wide open. Like I mentioned earlier, Ty Madden gets the win, 5 innings. He was really, really good. The 7 strikeouts really jump out, just the 1 earned run. All right, we get to your comments right away, and I agree with Jason Walter here. Just a nice, calm W on a later Sunday afternoon with the time difference, 7:23 local time, and probably people gearing up for the Lions game as well. Let's be honest here. All right, Darth Twerk also says, yes, sir, I wish we had have swept them, but we'll take the series win. Exactly. I think in a lot of senses, the sweep would have been really nice, obviously, but you also have to understand, and I tried to express this the best I could, how much that Friday night game must have taken out of them, both physically and emotionally, to come back and get 2 wins and take the series. That's a tip of the cap, as we say. Demetrius McNeil is up next. Hard to believe. Tigers are 3 games back of the Twins in the final wild card spot, and now business to take care of at Comerica Park. Yes, 3.5 games back. Make sure we get that half game in there. The Twins, unfortunately, do have the tiebreaker, but you look at the wild card standings with the Tigers 3.5, the Mariners 3.5, Red Sox 4 games back, and the Rays 5 games back. After that, it starts to, you got the Rangers 6.5, and we don't need to get into everybody thereafter. But my goodness, when you draw, and I loved how Benetti said this, when you pull up the graphic, the playoff graphic, and the yellow line signifies, okay, the last team in and the first team on the outside looking in, the closest to being that last wild card team right now, this present time at 7:25 Eastern time on Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening rather, is your Detroit Tigers. So fun. You got to love that. Big game from Trey Sweeney. Pretty much the entire offense getting in on the action. Total team win to get that series win. You'll love to see it. We'll take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We are going to talk a little bit more about this one, as well as what the Tigers can do with the upcoming homestand, and check in on that wild card race and continue reading your comments here on a live Locked On Tigers postcast. This episode of the Locked On Tigers Postcast is brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. That's right, you know FanDuel. It's the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. And we've talked a lot about FanDuel, and why wouldn't we? It is America's number one sports book. And as we continue to tell you about America's number one sportsbook, we got something new for you. That's right, a little something different. So listen up and listen good. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then, with the YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market games. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. If that's not enough, oh yeah, FanDuel keeps on giving. That's right. FanDuel also has something special for our listeners this weekend. Be sure to check out FanDuel's Profit Boost in the app and use it for FanDuel's Double Your Winnings for all Sunday, September 8th. That's today. Pre-game money line bets. That's right. So you still got time to get in some pre-game money line bets. Profit Boost will be live starting Friday, and you can, in fact, get in on the action at FanDuel.com. Download America's number one sports book. Tigers beat the Oakland Athletics 9-1, 2 games above 500, 73 and 71. But the number we all care about, 3.5 out of the wild card, trailing the Minnesota Twins after they lost to the Royals once again. And I think collectively, if you're a Kansas City Royals fan, they had that really rough patch, but they have kind of righted the ship and now are once again nipping at the heels of the Cleveland Guardians. So there we go. All right. Lots of questions coming in and love the comments. I saw a question in there. Let me just go to it right now. Matt Wood, where did you get your 1968 road jersey hat? That's right. I'm glad you noticed that. It is of the 1968 road jersey made into a hat. And this is going to be crazy, but I found this online a couple of years ago. And my brother, same thing, loved the hat. He snagged one right away, and I haven't been able to see him since. So this was 2 or 3 years ago, I want to say. But maybe I wish I had a better answer. Honestly, I think Dick's Sporting Goods too. This live Locked On Tigers postcast turns into a where did I get my Detroit Tigers hats? So I wish I had a better answer for you. But good luck. In fact, maybe you've kind of piqued my interest. Maybe I will take a look to see if we can find these online again. All right, next question or next comment. YouTube user: Tigers bat striking like a cobra in their half of the 8th inning. Ty Madden for the win. You gotta love this. Absolutely, you sure do have to love what the Tigers did this afternoon, what they did yesterday too. And I said it on yesterday's postcast. I went back and watched because I felt like yesterday's postcast entering that it's just a 2-1 game and you didn't know exactly what the big story or the takeaway was, but it's just this team finding a way to get it done. And today had the same feel. It was a 3-1 game going to the 8th, and then they broke it wide open, which you love to see. Gareth Riding says a great way to win the series. Absolutely. Darth Works saying Trey Sweeney. Yeah, absolutely. Trey Sweeney is making a case to be the shortstop, at least of the immediate future. Obviously, with Javi's health, I would say concerns. Yeah, just not really sure what that result of the season-ending hip surgery will result in. And the sample size we've seen from Sweeney, especially when he gets around on that ball, wow, that ball just jumps off his bat. Parker Meadows had a big game as well. And he kind of started the onslaught in that 8th inning with the 2-run double in a clutch spot there. And he's so important to this lineup. And you look at when you go through that 8th inning, Meadows gets the double to score Sweeney and Torkelson. Then Vierling follows it up. What do we always say? Good hitting is contagious. And it was the old pass the baton kind of feeling as any good big inning has. And that's what you love to see from your Detroit Tigers. So in that 8th inning, again, it's Parker Meadows that gets it going. And then it's Matt Vierling. You love that. And then it's Riley Green getting in on the action with the single, scoring Vierling. And you kind of took the will from the Athletics too. They were making a few errors, letting the Tigers take extra bases, not hitting cutoffs. Carpenter then doubles to score Green, and then Colt Keith, just for good measure, gets the single. Carpenter scores, and that was the error that allowed Colt Keith to get to second base. So let me make sure I count this up correctly. That was, 5 batters consecutively in that 8th inning resulted in scoring plays for the Tigers, which is really, really good stuff. All right. Pickle and peanut butter, 2-5-6-6. I went to the Coliseum last 2 years against Detroit. It's not that bad. Yeah, I agree. I just have such an affinity for going to ballparks and seeing my team play in different ballparks. And so when I had the opportunity to go to the Coliseum, you just, as a fan and just a consumer of the sport, I just love to take it in at a new ballpark. I think I put it on Twitter when I was in the Bay Area last month. We went to a Giants game, and I mean, my goodness, Oracle Park, just absolutely gorgeous. Good stuff all the way around. All right, Mark is up next. Madden was impressive. Another good win. Meadows is on fire. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you guys more. And in fact, I hope you feel my blood pressure is down. We're not yelling and screaming. We are just enjoying really good baseball from the Detroit Tigers. So great stuff all the way around. And when it goes according to plan, you just kind of check the box. That was good. Love that. And here we are. You chalk it all up to a 9-1 win, 3.5 games out of the wild card, and a series win over the Athletics. So all good things on my front. All right, let's look ahead at the upcoming schedule. We'll do that next. Get you ready for Locked On Lions postcast 2, which will come your way in just a few hours. So if you enjoy Locked On Sports Detroit content, join us later tonight, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you're checking out Locked On Tigers every day with Scott Bentley, Locked On Lions with Matt Derry. All good things happening in the Motor City. Locked On Wolverines with Isaiah Hull. So many good things. Hit that subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything. Helps us out a great deal. And it's a fun time of the year to be covering the Detroit sports scene, including the University of Michigan as well. That's what it's all about here on Locked On Sports Detroit, and why we appreciate each and every one of you so much, because couldn't do it without you. And don't forget the Locked On MLB podcast. That's right. Host Paul Sullivan, a.k.a. Sully, here to get you ready for the MLB playoffs, and they're coming right up. So prepare for the Fall Classic with Sully, who has it all covered every single day on Locked On MLB, available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. All right, final segment of the weekend before the off day coming up next. But don't worry, we've got Locked On Lions postcast as well. Back in a moment on Locked On Sports Detroit. This episode of the Locked On Tigers postcast is brought to you by eBay Motors. That's right, eBay Motors. We've been telling you about them for a while, really all season. So you should know by now what we know, and that is the combination of passion, drive, and patience. That's the formula for winning championships. It's what the Tigers have been doing lately. That's right. It's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. I'm talking superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and so much more. So whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. So keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. All right, appreciate everybody tuning in. As always, Tigers knock off the Oakland A's and take the series. They won yesterday 2-1. They win today 9-1. So credit to that pitching staff and that offense that came alive in the 8th inning with the 6-run to blow it wide open. A couple more comments to get to. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Rufus Elgato de Baseball. I hope Tigers fans would never blow that dumb horn. that horn was getting pretty annoying. I will not lie. I completely agree. But Tigers did a good job of kind of silencing that in the 8th inning. One more comment here from Pickle and Peanut Butter 2566 with Meadows defense. If he can just hit 250 with 12 to 15 home runs, the runs he will save over the course of a season will make up for any lack or more of hitting. Yeah, I completely agree. And he's hitting so well as of late. In fact, he is just playing with such an element of confidence, such an element of swag, if you will. And I believe the way he is put forth, the performance he's put forth has been contagious for the rest of the team moving forward. And you love to see that from a young guy who has had some ups and downs. And I think he was really getting back into it when he had that hamstring injury in the series against Cincinnati. But the second stint on the injured list came right back. And boy, was he really, really good ever since then, which is great stuff. All right. That being said, appreciate everyone tuning in. Let's look ahead to that schedule because I think the Tigers earned this, right? They have earned the, I guess, excitement and conversation and everything else that goes along with being in a legitimate wild card race. So off day tomorrow, and then the Colorado Rockies come to town, who, like we said, 36 games under 500. Then it's the big game, the big series at home against the Baltimore Orioles, who are gunning with the New York Yankees to try to win the AL East. I think they're pretty much guaranteed a playoff spot, but of course you want to win your division, not just be a wild card team if you're the Baltimore Orioles or the New York Yankees. So that, and then my, oh my, circle your calendars, Monday, September 16th, the Tigers in Kansas City against the Royals for the first of 3 before they travel to Baltimore for 3 against the Orioles. Off day split in between there. But those are 6 huge games. And then depending on how you feel about this, because we know what it is, even if you're playing a lesser opponent, you still got to go out and win. But the final 6 games of the season at home, 3 against the Tampa Bay Rays, who we can't pretend like they're an incompetent baseball team. You know, they're like 2 games back of where the Tigers are, or 2.5, whatever it is. And then we can talk about an incompetent baseball team. The Chicago White Sox are worse than an incompetent baseball team, and the Tigers end with 3 against them. So you gotta find points in the schedule at this time of the season where you have to have those games. And I don't think that's putting pressure on the Tigers. I think it's just the understanding of the reality of the situation, because it's a terrible baseball team that the Chicago White Sox have. And when this whole thing kind of started to get some legs is when the Tigers took 4 in a row from the White Sox and then 2 out of 3 from the Angels and put together that nice little winning streak. So, and maybe that's how they could end it too, with 3 wins at home over the Chicago White Sox, the Southsiders, if you will. Lots of comments to get to as well. All righty. Rufus Elgato de Baseball, is this the same channel for the Lions post-game show? It absolutely is. Good question. Locked On Sports Detroit. So set up your notifications, become part of the Noti gang. Set your notifications up so you don't miss any time we go live. We go live for post-game shows with the Locked On Tigers postcast, live for post-game shows after Michigan football, Locked On Wolverines postcast, and live for post-game shows after the Lions game, Locked On Lions postcast, and then you can find the audio version in the corresponding show. So very, very good question there. All right. Pickle and Peanut Butter 255.6 or 225.66. There we go. Got to get 2 from KC. Got to get 2 from Tampa. Yeah, it's hard to do the schedule thing where you're just picking games you have to win. But it's also a part of the conversation. And what this Tigers team needs to do is, if they want to, realistically have a shot at this thing. And what do they have to do down the stretch? I mean, 15 wins, 16 wins, something to that effect. And you got to believe that that would include taking 3 from inferior opponents like the White Sox. So let's do the math here. 3 against the Rockies, 3 against the Orioles. That's 6-game homestand. And then the 6-game road trip between the Royals and the Orioles. So that's 12 games and then 6 games at home. Can you go 14-4? Can you go 13-5? What does that look like? And let the chips fall as they may. I think this Tigers team can get it, and that would be super exciting. All right. Want to make sure we are all good technical, making sure, sorry about that, just live on the air here, making sure our Wi-Fi signal is still strong enough, which it is. We didn't lose anybody. All good stuff there. Appreciate the patience. A couple more comments to get to. Last Straps Baseball. Now the Tigers have to take care of business on the teams they need to beat, starting with the Rockies. That's right. Got to get it done. Got to get it done. Off day tomorrow. And then when you look at the projected starters, it'll be Cater Montero in the first game on Tuesday. That's a 6:40 first pitch. So Cater Montero followed by Casey Mize on Wednesday, September 11th. That's a 6:40 start as well. And then Scuba will go in the day game on Thursday. First pitch just after 1 o'clock. So you got 3 starters. You got Cater Montero, Casey Mize, and Tarek Skubal. Let's go get a sweep and really make this thing interesting, huh? Sounds like a plan to me. Thanks so much for making Locked On Tigers Postcast part of your post-game destination, Like I said, we'll be back on Locked On Sports Detroit for Locked On Lions Postcast later tonight. Make sure you join us for that. Tigers get the win 9-1 over the Oakland Athletics. Final time at the Oakland Coliseum, and the Tigers go out in style, taking the series, taking today's game, and don't look now. The Tigers 3.5 back from a wild card, chasing. That's right, the Minnesota Twins above them, the Kansas City Royals. So let's just go get her done, go take care of business, and let the chips fall as they may. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's why you subscribe. Be a part of the race as the Tigers try to make a playoff push. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and hopefully you'll join us later on tonight after Sunday Night Football, after the first Locked On Lions postcast of the regular season. We had a couple preseason postcasts, but join us for that, and hopefully we're talking about a Lions victory as Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams come to town and take on the Lions in a rematch of the opening round of the playoff last year, where the Lions got the better half of Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford and the Rams. It's all coming up on Locked On Sports Detroit. So have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we'll see you later on tonight for Locked On Lions postcast. Tigers get the win, a series victory over the Oakland Athletics. 9-1 the final in this one. Have a great night. We'll see you next time on Locked On Sports Detroit.